Alrighty, it's been a month. More wrestling to talk about. I got a Mountain Dew in hand.
So much. Yes.
I need the sugar and caffeine.
I have only water because I donated platelets earlier today and I'm still rehydrating.
I'll probably be drinking 3 waters after this just to dilute the
Ooh.
sugar.
Do you know what? I do have a Sprite Zero in the fridge.
A Sprite
That
Zero?
sounds delicious right now. Yeah.
But Sprite doesn't have caffeine. What's the... Oh, the sugar.
Yeah, but it has sugar.
Yeah.
The Sprite Zero is zero sugar. It's like diet, but it's like Coke Zero. But
Yeah.
Sprite Zero.
Yeah, it's...
Sounds
blasphemous.
Yeah.
Sprite without sugar.
I know. Regular Sprite. So when I was sick, so I've been sick all month, and I think you have too.
Oh God, terrible.
So I think you can hear it in my voice. So listeners, I apologize that I still sound the way I do. But this is a million times better than I sounded a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, no kidding.
But yeah, so while I was sick, one of the things I picked up was regular Sprite, like with sugar, because it's like something that I like when I'm sick. But I haven't had it in years, and I was like, oh my God, this is so much better than fucking Diet Sprite Zero.
Oh yeah.
It's so much better.
I always drink ginger ale when I'm sick.
Yeah.
That's my big go-to.
Sure. If it's a stomach thing and if it has actual ginger, I will drink ginger ale. But
gotta get that Canada Dry.
When it's a cold, yeah.
Not that fake Schweppes bullshit.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Canada Dry is the only real ginger ale.
Oh, so we were talking a lot of hockey. I did a whole thing on the retro gaming podcast over the Four Nations, but man, Colorado looked really tired last night. They play again tonight. Again, who do they play tonight? St. Louis? St. Louis.
Colorado is playing St. Louis. The Devils also played last night. The good thing is they are also playing again tonight, but we are playing Nashville, who the Avs lost to last night. So that'll be interesting to see how the Devils do against Nashville, who is also on back-to-back nights. But the reason why this is important is because the Devils and the Avs meet Wednesday.
Yeah, and you're
attending that game, and I can't wait.
You're going to the game. I'm jealous.
I'm so excited. So here's the thing about the Devils and the Avs since I've lived in Colorado, though. Since I've lived in Colorado, I've gone to, I think, every Denver game. And that's been since 2012 was probably the first Devils Avs game I went to. Since then,
you got a big history then, big backlog.
Yep, and I'm pulling up the graphic because I gotta find it. In that time that I've been attending the games, the Devils have only won in Denver like twice. Even the years when
they were
the Devils
really
were
bad?
fantastic. Even when the Devils were in the playoff hunt and the Avs were really bad, or vice versa, that it's just the Devils just don't win here. It's really, I have to find this graphic for you. It's
maybe
really
the
funny.
altitude has something to do with that, because that's always a case when like the Utah Jazz play a lot of teams. His teams just don't win in Utah. But the Jazz have just been atrocious in basketball.
It could have
last number of years.
Have something to do. It could have something to do with the altitude, maybe.
Altitude travel. There's always a whole thing when teams gotta go to the Rockies.
I don't know, and it could just be that the Avs have. Oh, here it is. Okay, let me share this with you. I don't know if the listeners care, but I'm going to share my screen.
No, the listeners do care. They all care about hockey.
Okay, I'm sharing.
A wrestling podcast with hockey talk.
I'm clicking share my screen and it's not doing anything. Oh, maybe it's because I'm popped out.
Yeah, maybe.
In Discord. Hang on. Yeah, that's why. Hey, give me 1 sec. Share entire screen. Okay, this screen. Where I lost my mouse now. Okay, here we go.
I haven't heard anything over Landeskog coming back yet. They keep, like, dropping hints, and he's skating?
Yeah.
God, they need him back. All right, so watch stream. There we go.
So,
you have a lot of tabs open.
I I always do. It's my ADHD brain. If I don't keep the tabs open, I will never go back. Oh, I was officially recently diagnosed with ADHD, by
Oh
the way.
boy.
It's official. I'm picking up medication this week. So yay. Way to, be diagnosed late in life. But yeah, so
So they won
I'm
in
showing Katie right now.
2017, New Jersey.
I,
Oh, twice in
so
2017.
so the only time
3 times.
So yeah,
3 times.
The Devils always beat the Avs in New Jersey, but not in Colorado. Um, I'm assuming that this is away and home, the way that they're listed. Um, I don't know, but yeah.
Oh, I
So
see.
the Devils. So
It looks
starting
like
in
no matter what, it looks
2012,
like Colorado usually wins.
yeah. The total record from the time I started watching is the Devils with 7 wins and 16 losses against the Avs since I've lived in Denver. And then the other thing that's really funny is it occurred to me that since living in Denver, that uh, uh, I didn't think that the Devils and the Avs had ever made the playoffs in the same year. And it's true. I went back, I found it. Until 2023, the Avs and the Devils had not been in the playoffs in the same year since 2012. Look at this graphic.
Yeah, even though the Devils
Oh,
have
wait,
had a
it's
good
not
team the
sharing.
last like
Is it
5 years.
sharing?
Yeah, it's Sharon, I see
Hang
it.
on. It's not. You do? Okay. Yeah.
It doesn't help that the
Yeah.
Devils missed the playoffs all but 3 years.
True. That is also true.
Yeah.
But I thought these were really interesting.
Well, Colorado hasn't.
Anyway.
I mean, they just picked it up. They just picked up being good in 2019, but it's been a very good
Yeah.
run the last 5 years.
Right.
Stanley Cup in that time doesn't hurt.
Yeah, but if you look at this graphic of the playoffs that I just pulled up, so in 2012 the Devils lost in the Stanley Cup Finals, right? So that was, but then they missed the playoffs for the following 5 years. I mean, Brodeur retired, and they were, had to.
Oh yeah, as soon as he retired, that's when the
Um,
team just kind of went boof. No goalie.
Yeah. The Devils made the playoffs in 2018, but lost in the first round. And then the next time they made the playoffs was not until 2023.
I think that was the Adam Henrique year. She was really good. Yeah.
2012 was the Henrique year. It was the Stanley Cup year.
Okay.
It was when the Devils Henrique the Rangers was in 2012.
2017. Who was on that Devils team in 2017? Let's see. I'm pulling that up.
The year we lost in the first round of playoffs, 2018?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Don't know.
It's very important to me. I'm looking it up.
Okay.
Oh, I was thinking of Nico Herscher. That's who I was thinking. And Adam Henrique was on the team, but he was injured.
Nico, I think, was drafted the same year as Makar.
Ooh, that sounds right. But Makar started immediately for the team.
No, Nico started immediately for the team, and Makar played in college for a couple years.
No, because they called him up early, and they had to lose a year of his contract because they called him up for the playoffs.
Makar?
Yeah, that was a big talking point.
Right, but he played at least 1 year in college because he had just played in the college finals, and then was called up, and they put him in the Stanley Cup tournament.
Yeah.
Playoffs.
But yeah, this was Pavel Zacha.
He played at least 1 year.
Yeah, Pavel Zacha, Herscher, Taylor Hall was still there. Henrique was injured for most of the year. That's kind of it for that team, though.
In 18, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I had no delusions that we were going to go very far that year. 2023, I had high hopes, and I'm cautiously optimistic this year. I don't know who's beating uh, um,
Washington?
who's at the top right now? Yeah.
That's a motivated team.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know.
Ovechkin's got 2 more goals today, so he's ever so closer. I think
I know.
14 now.
I know. I'm gonna get my Sprite.
Ah. Well, get your Sprite. Off she goes. Yeah, I'm excited for the playoffs this year. The NHL has been there hasn't been a lot of like stories other than Ovechkin, but a lot of teams are doing quite well. I'm just so sick of the fucking Dallas Stars. Oh my god, I am super nervous they're going to win it this year.
Oh, I'm sick of them too.
They got Michael
I hate them.
Granlund
But I do
at
love.
the trade deadline, and I'm just terrified of that team now. They just don't lose anymore.
Yeah, the Devils did not pick up a veteran forward who can score goals as of yet, which is a problem. That's what we really need.
I don't think we've had a podcast since the Rottenen trade.
Which trade?
The Rottenen trade?
I don't know. Oh, Miko.
Yeah.
Rantanen.
Rottenen, yeah.
Rottenen. Miko Rantanen. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was devastating.
But
for the city.
In hindsight, it's looking super smart, and they had to for the Avalanche, because I like Natchez a lot. And it looks like Carolina's not going to be able to sign Rottenen, and they might have to trade him again before the trade deadline.
Yeah. What do you think are the odds that Sidney Crosby plays for the Avs next year? I think if he doesn't
watch him go to
re-sign
Vegas
with Pittsburgh. No. If he doesn't re-sign with Pittsburgh, the only place he will go is Colorado, so he can play with Nate and maybe get a cup. I feel like Sidney would take a pay cut to play with Nate if the Avs are cup crazy.
It's possible, and he would very much contribute to the team more than like Nichushkin has the last number of years.
Right.
I would love that contract to just go away at this point. I've been talking about that for months.
Well, Val is problematic for other reasons.
Yeah. Well, he likes the Coke. He's not a Sprite guy. So,
Indeed.
yeah. I think it'd be more funny if Rottenen doesn't re-sign with Carolina. They trade him to a team. I refuse.
Oh yeah. I didn't even know who you were talking about at first. You said it so wrong.
And then he just re-signs with Colorado in the offseason.
Sure. Why not?
That would be hilarious. Okay, so let's talk AE-dubs before we get into the excellent New Japan show and that god-awful Nitro show, the go-home show to the Great American Bash 2000.
Okay.
So,
where are we starting the AEW discussion? Because I have Cruise recap as well.
We'll quickly go through the Cruise, but basically we're going to touch on Grand Slam, the build to Revolution, and where the conversation we left off was the kind of weird old person television that AEW was doing. And now that a month has gone by, basically, how do we feel television has progressed in that amount of time heading into the pay-per-view?
I love it.
So what happened on the Jericho Cruise, besides you getting violently ill for a month?
Yeah, so fortunately I did make it to the end of the cruise, but I got sick, very, very sick the last night, and I got off the boat with like 104-degree fever.
Oh.
It was miserable, but I made it to the end, so thank God for that.
You beat me, because I was posting like 101s when I was ill at the same time.
My highest temperature of that illness was actually 106.
Oh.
At one point.
Oh my God.
Bad. It was the most It was the most sick I've ever felt since like my first COVID bout. Okay, so
Did
Cruise.
Ovechkin get a hat trick just now?
Did he? Did he just score again?
That can't be right. Hold, you continue. I'm gonna confirm
Maybe.
this.
He's. I mean, what a wild. Okay, so Cruise. Um, the group that I travel with to the cruise. I
He
think
did.
I've mentioned this before. We just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I think there were about 25 of us this year,
Ovechkin did
which
get
was
a hat trick.
amazing.
I'm confirming that.
Ovechkin has a hat
He
trick.
got a hat trick to end the game. Yeah.
Like, was it an open net at the end, or?
The third goal was an empty netter. Yeah.
Yeah. Wild. Wild.
I'm always okay with an
Um,
empty net hat trick.
yeah, empty net hat trick is great.
Those
It's
are
fun.
fun because then you've completely sealed the
Well,
game. The guy's got 3 goals.
right, and like half the time they like pass the puck to the guy with the 2 goals already, right?
Right.
Like one guy could take this shot, and then like, oh, you're gonna get a hat trick if you take it, so they'll pass
Well, in
it.
this case, a lot of Ovechkin's
Um,
empty netters are him just going solo. Like he
yeah,
just barrels into the puck and then he has it. He's like, "No, this is mine."
yeah. Um,
Beautiful.
so yeah, so cruise wise, our group just keeps growing and growing, and seeing the same people, like not just from our group, just seeing returning cruisers every year is still my favorite part of the cruise is the community that we formed. Um, and I probably say this every year, but I think this is actually true that this is the best cruise, maybe of all of them. The first and second ones had different kinds of anticipation than this one, but just the overall quality of talent, matches, organization. They've done it,
Mm-hmm.
5 times already. So by number 6, they've pretty much nailed all of the admin stuff. It was just so much fun. I also, for me personally, um, I took a different approach this year, and I was uh, way more sober. I was very like I drank and I got tipsy, um but yeah, I took a more grown up approach, I guess, to my partying on this cruise, and it was awesome. So uh highlights from the cruise though. I think you've seen some of them probably floating around social media. Oh, so Jericho always gives the cruises a subtitle. So like the second one was part deux, the third one was a triple whammy, whatever.
Yep. What was this one?
This one was six on the beach. And
Ah,
the reason for that name is obviously it's a clever quote unquote take on sex on the beach.
no, that's
But the
impossible.
reason
No
why
way.
that's the reason why that's even important though was on cruise 4, if you recall, Will Ospreay was on that cruise. He was still signed to New Japan. He was injured and he had just broken up with B. He had like no obligations on that cruise. All he did was party. And he was drinking sex on the beach the whole time. And at one point started these sex on the beach chants where we're just like walking around the ship going sex, sex, sex on the beach, sex, sex, sex
Oh,
on the
that's
beach.
fun.
So we all predicted that the sixth cruise would be called that. And then when it was, we all the cruisers who were at least on number 4 all just knew that Will Ospreay was gonna have to be there. Um, it was as much his cruise this year as it was
Mm-hmm.
Jericho's. And um, so um he actually had a storyline in his matches. Which normally you don't get on the I mean you do. They do storytelling, but his story was basically he's drunk, he's drinking sex on the beaches. He wrestled his first match in Crocs and the crowd flipped out when he flipped the Crocs into sport mode. It's just house show silliness, right? It's so fun. Um I'm
Yeah,
trying to
I'm
look up
going through
the celebrities
all the
behind me.
Jericho cards here, and
Yeah,
looks
so
like there
the
was a lot of
cards
fun
are
matches.
great.
They did a lot of women's wrestling on this one.
There was a lot of women's wrestling. Um,
Harley Cameron, Lady
the
Frost, Thunder Rosa, Nyla Rose for some cabaret
yeah.
title thing.
Oh yeah. Okay, so let's go through the cards because some of them are actually important to um to discuss and actually have ramifications. Uh, so anywhere where it says Jay Lethal on the card, know that he wrestled as Black Machismo in all of his matches,
Okay.
which was amazing. Um, the Masked Brother, by the way, was Frankie Kazarian. It's how they got him to
I
wrestle
see.
when he signed to TNA. Takeshita versus Tommy Billington, phenomenal stuff. It was short, but it was great.
Yeah,
Um,
6 minutes. It's one of the few matches with a match guide rating.
with a time,
Yeah,
yeah.
into time. Yeah.
Yeah, and then anytime the Outrunners were in the ring, anytime Grizzled Young Vets were in the ring, MXM, I mean, people just went wild for those. Um,
They're entertaining.
and then oh, Harley Cameron got a couple wins on the cruise, which was exciting. She even beat Billy Starks. Um, uh, Black Machismo challenged Daniel Garcia for the TNT title, which was a very good match. Let's see what else. What else? Oh, Curryman made a comeback. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, you were telling me about it.
I did.
Yeah.
So Curryman comes back, amazing. Then there was the Oceanic tournament, the men's tournament. In the first round, Mojibari defeated Enzo, and Tommy Billington defeated Elijah. Unfortunately, Tommy Billington was injured in that match and could
Ah.
not move forward. Um, so, um, so what they did was they had Mojibari in the finals against Michael Oku, who lost his Oceanic Championship to Mojibari. It was a phenomenal match. Uh, in the past 2 years, uh, the final for the Oceanic Championship has been the work rate match of the boat, and this did not disappoint. I talked to both guys leading up to the. I talked to both guys in the days and nights before the final match, and Mo was like, "Yeah, we have a plan. It's gonna fucking bang." And they did not disappoint. It was awesome. I can't wait for people to watch that one. The women's tournament featured Natalia Markova, who I was not familiar with. I think she wrestles right now in either NWA or MLW or something, but she was phenomenal and won the inaugural women's title. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of her. And then, oh, and she's super hot. So
Well,
that's just a thing too.
you know.
But really good in ring, like really impressive. And then the main event of the cruise, Jericho only ever wrestles one match and it's on the last night, was Grizzly Young Veterans and MXM teaming against the members of the Learning Tree and a mystery partner who ended up being Enzo. So there was an Enzo and Big Cass reunion.
That was all over X, the everything
Yeah.
app.
And then after it there were run-ins, right? So Jushin Thunder Liger does a run-in, Curryman does a run-in, Tony Storm does a run-in. But the cool thing about all of that is usually the run-ins from the last match lead to the main event for the next year's cruise. So I think we might get a mixed tag something with Tony Storm
Ah.
next year, hopefully. Um, Other things that I wanted to point out from the cruise, I mean, our listeners know generally how I feel about Chris Jericho. Um, but one of my favorite moments of the cruise this year was in the middle of a Fozzy concert. He stops to like work the crowd a little bit and he goes, "Hi guys." And the crowd, pops and he responds and he just shakes his head and he laughs and he goes, "So fucking stupid." Like he gets it, right? Like he
Yeah.
totally understands what he's doing. He knows how dumb it is. He gets it. So anybody who's complaining, so like last night on Collision, there was a Ring of Honor title match.
I've
Jericho
heard the
versus
Bandito match is really good.
It was really good, but in the middle of the match, there were please retire chants for Jericho, which I just, at this point now, I'm really over because he knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just going to fucking put it on a t-shirt and sell it and make money off you, Marks. So, yeah, that's, anyway, that's my summary, I think, of the cruise. Did I miss anything? I don't know. So I am no longer using Twitter, by the way. You can find me on BluSky at Ricky Lynn. So there, I have some pictures and summaries from the cruise. Oh, the other thing that happened on the cruise that I totally forgot. Okay.
Okay.
I accidentally booked a match on the cruise.
How'd you pull that off?
Okay. So the night before the last night of the wrestling, I had a pretty lengthy conversation with John Cruz, aka Serpentico, who's phenomenal, and he was so sweet. And we just had a really lovely discussion. But at one point, I of course had to bring up Lucha Libre and Laughs and say like, "Hey, please come to Colorado." And I barely had to sell him on it. I started telling him about it. He's like, "Say no more." He's like, "Abaddon's there, Heidi Howitzer's there. I know them." He's like, "If they book me against somebody that I know, I don't even need my booking fee. Just pay for my flights." He's like, "If it fits into my schedule, I'm gonna be there." And I was like, "That's so cool. Thank you. Like, I really hope it works
He wants
out."
the vacation,
And
basically.
then I was like, "Well, yeah, but I mean, it's such a fun promotion, right?"
Mm-hmm.
So then I was like, it would be really fun to see you against somebody you knew, but our current champion right now is a very like Bobby Lashley type. I was like, he's like in his early 50s. He's a former football player. He's this big, jacked guy. He's a very, very Bobby Lashley type. And I was like, it would be really funny to see Serpentico versus a guy like Bobby Lashley. And he goes, "That gives me an idea." And I dismissed it. I like thought nothing of it. Like I like forgot it. I forgot it even happened. Later that night, or maybe the next day.
Oh my God! Sorry.
I found out. So Bobby Lashley and MVP were on the cruise, but the last day of the cruise, I found out that Bobby Lashley didn't bring his gear. Either he wasn't told to, or he forgot, or didn't know, or whatever. So any matches that had been planned for Bobby Lashley were scrapped. He and MVP just did a couple promos, maybe one the first night, and then the last night of wrestling, they come out to do a promo. They're in plain clothes, and I forget what the gist of the promo was. Basically, like, we could beat anybody, and
we hurt people.
Too important to wrestle here. We hurt people, and this cruise is beneath us, and we're too important to wrestle here. And then, like, at the end of their promo, Serpentico comes down the ramp dragging Aubrey Edwards, saying, like, "Hey, hang on, I want to fight you. I want to fight you." And
you gave him a good
Bobby
idea.
Lashley squashes him in like 45 seconds in his street clothes. Yeah, I accidentally booked that match.
That was fun.
I think like it stands.
Well, you gave him a good idea for an entertaining segment of time, and it got the Hurt Syndicate out there.
Yeah, it sure did.
Yeah.
So
it wouldn't shock me if they probably do that same thing on Dynamite at some point soon.
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
It wouldn't shock me if they do that same thing on Dynamite soon, as that was like a test run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the other thing about the cruise is it is like a beta test for new gimmicks, new acts. I mean, don't forget that the cruise is how the Ass Boys first got over 2 years ago. It's how the Outrunners got over last year. It definitely helps Harley this year. I mean, Harley was already her trajectory
going forward,
going, but she was so over on the cruise. I'm trying to remember who else got super over this year, but I don't know that there were any like newer acts this year. But anyway, phenomenal stuff. It was I truly do think it was the best one. We were really lucky to be there.
Okay.
Did I share my album with you?
Yeah, I got it. I was looking through it.
I did? My photo album?
Yeah.
Okay, just
I got everything.
Hey.
So we're on the road to Revolution. It's a couple weeks away here. Yeah. March 9th. So it's actually, that is like 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So good timing.
Yeah.
So what's our feeling for Revolution at this point in time with what we know being booked? We got Osprey Fletcher, Steel Cage, Takeshita Omega, international title, MJF, Hangman, Moxley against the Rated R superstar Cope. Stupid name. Mercedes Moné versus Momo Watanabe, so a rematch from the New Japan Strong show a number of last year? I think that was last year. Tony Storm and Mariah May, the Hollywood ending. So they're doing a rematch. That's what we know. What's your feeling?
I'm excited. I think all the matches on paper sound awesome. I don't really care, obviously, about Mox versus Cope, but especially since Cope just fucking nailed my guy Pac last night on Collision. I'm so pissed at him. So fucking go Mox, retain. I mean, everybody thinks that though that Cope's gonna win and then Christian's gonna cash in though, right?
Ugh. Yeah, that's in the back of the... that just makes me sick just thinking about that scenario.
Sorry.
Yeah, the whole cash-in thing is bad.
Yeah.
And I really don't like this new character of Edge. Like, when he was going for the TNT title, it was fine. This main event program deal with him and Moxley just isn't working. And I think that's that's what's hurting the pay-per-view overall. Is no one seems to be into the main event, but the rest of the card is good.
Okay, but if you're not watching Collision, if you didn't watch Collision from last night, I do think it did work to make people more excited for that. And then the other big thing that happened on Collision last night, I know you didn't watch it, but did you hear the news from Collision last night?
What's that?
Speedball's coming!
Oh, yeah, Mike Bailey.
There was a video package.
Mike Bailey.
So I'm very excited.
Yeah, they also, they're doing Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors coming in and doing some program.
So Gabe Kidd had a match last night against The Butcher, and it was very fun. I did not hear Clark Connors was coming in. That's exciting. I prefer Clark Connors over Gabe Kidd, but Gabe Kidd is amazing.
Yeah, it looks like they're leaning towards some tag team deal along with Gabe kind of going for Daniel Garcia, which I think would be a good little program to have.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
So
also, sorry, from Collision. Collision last night was just a phenomenal episode of TV. I don't know if you normally skip Collision or if you just
I said this last time. I've preferred Collision in 2025 over Dynamite.
Okay. Last night's episode was probably one of the best Collision episodes ever. Partly helped by the Phoenix crowd, which was phenomenal for Dynamite as well. Great stuff.
I'm wondering what and when the Young Bucks are going to come back and how that's going to play into all this Omega, Hangman. There's a lot of mystery. I can't quite put my finger on what they're going to do. Again, I think a lot of it has to do with Mox's group, Moxley's. And they'll probably be connected to that in some way, but we'll see. I think TV has gotten a lot better. It started in February. As soon as they utilized all the old person matchups, Dustin Rhodes, Jeff Jarrett, and all these.
Oh yeah, we went through those.
We went through them all. And once they kind of got past that mini story they had with all of them, it functioned as a good setup for the good TV we're seeing now. So it got, I think the goal line was passed, and it succeeded in getting everyone over to their next stage of characters, and that's what's made the TV better. MJF, for example, going into the Hangman thing, we're still getting a lot of Ricochet and Swerve action there. We have, once Claudio and Jeff Jarrett and all that was kind of done, that match was horrid, by the way. The point afterwards, I think, was very successful. So from that aspect, it was kind of worth it, in a way. Unfortunately, TV ratings have stagnated to the point where nothing changes kind of every week. So I'm wondering, as we inch in the next 2 weeks towards Revolution, we'll see some uptick, and then hopefully whatever happens at Revolution will lead to more continuation of this good TV we've been seeing. whether it's been Dynamite or
Exactly.
Collision, because I think Dynamite has vastly improved. Collision, I think more people are paying attention to Collision with things like Grand Slam.
Finally.
That's really helped.
Finally. Yeah. The best thing, sorry, also about TV, and I'm bringing the cruise in too, is I think the cruise every year always kind of reminds Tony that wrestling doesn't have to be that serious and people like the goofy shit.
Well, some goofy stuff.
Some goofy stuff. I mean, not all goofy stuff, obviously, but he's not afraid to throw it in. So, and then he's been throwing it in. So, anyway.
Meltzer gave Tony Storm Mariah May 4.5 stars. What?
I didn't think it was that good. It was good.
I mean, it
4,
was
probably.
fine. I went like 3.5.
Yeah.
I didn't go 4.5. Jeez.
Yeah.
And I'm the women's wrestling guy.
6 stars in the Tokyo Dome.
God. 4.5. That's crazy.
He doesn't give women 5 stars, right? Like ever.
He did just give a match 5 stars recently, from a Stardom show, and it was a trios match. So that was very surprising. And then he gave the main title match 4.5, which is that's about right.
Okay.
But yeah, like he only has
a couple.
He only has 2 5-star women matches in the last like 25 years.
Yeah, and there were a couple matches between AEW and New Japan recently that people were like, "This is a 5-star match," and didn't get them, if I recall correctly. I don't know.
Well, the Gabe Kidd Omega match was certainly 5. And then from
I'm saying women's matches.
Oh. I mean, I didn't have any 5-star matches from women last year. So it's just funny to me with his Dave-flation that he tends to cap it at 4.5, 4 3/4 for like the best ones.
Dave-flation. That is a great word.
Oh yeah, it's phenomenal. It's a real thing.
I love it. No, it is. It is. That's why I'm like, that's perfect. I love it.
Yeah. Let's see. We got. I really like what they're doing with the Don Callis family, and it's very consistent. Omega Ospreay is going right into it. It's a huge crux of television. I love all this that they're doing. You don't?
Yeah, I love to hate.
Okay.
I love to hate them.
You love to hate them. Okay.
Them. Yeah, absolutely. They are doing really good things.
I think a key to it is just being consistent on television.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God, Takeshita on the cruise. Holy shit. He was so fucking shit-faced. Night two on the cruise. We're in the... Oh my God. Hoovy was DJing.
Okay.
Juventud Guerrero was DJing the after party. He was the worst DJ I've ever heard, ever. He played no bangers, and then no one was dancing, and he wouldn't change the song. But anyway... Takeshita all night had a drink in each hand and was so sloppy. At one point, he had stacked the drinks one inside the other. Like one was like relatively empty, but not completely empty. He stacks the cups one inside of each other. He takes a sip out of the top one, and then all the liquid out of the bottom one spilled all down his front. Oh my God, he was so fucking shit-faced. I mean, everybody was super drunk. Oh, one other thing that was really interesting on the cruise, sorry that I keep coming back to it. Nick Wayne brought a buddy as his +1 instead of like last year I think he brought his mom. Daniel Garcia brought his mom this year. Nick Wayne brought a buddy. Nick Wayne brought Marcus Mathers as his +1.
Mathers has been signed to WWE though.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I just thought that was really interesting. That I really thought it was interesting that no one had a problem with him being there.
Oh, well, I mean, it's AEW and...
I mean, AEW obviously doesn't care. They acknowledge that people have friends and relationships outside of the company. I'm more surprised that WWE didn't say anything about it. Maybe he didn't tell them. Maybe he doesn't have to tell them. He doesn't have like a contract. It's a ID contract, whatever.
I mean, it probably involves him. He's not allowed to wrestle on the Jericho Cruise, but there's nothing says he can't be there.
Sure. I mean, because partners of people were there too, right? So, and that's happened in prior years.
Yeah.
Samantha Irvin was there, accompanying Ricochet. I never saw her, but she was on board.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, so Nick Wayne, Marcus Mathers, and Billy Starks, all under 21, right? But can drink on the boat, because it's international waters. They're over 18.
I see.
Uh, they had fun, let's say.
Okay.
I'm just gonna stop there. They had a blast.
Hey, I was under 21 when I was living in Europe. I also had fun.
Yeah, yeah, great stuff. Great stuff.
I want your
I might have
opinion
been responsible
over.
for some of the fun that they had.
Okay. I want your
Yeah.
opinion over this Tony Storm, Mariah May thing that we're heading into and what the payoff
Okay.
has been.
I don't know what you mean what the payoff has been. I mean,
So we got
I'm
Tony
not
Storm
surprised.
winning in Australia, and then they're going right back to the rematch, which I don't know what
Yep.
what what the Hollywood ending is supposed to mean exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's certainly a lot of
Maybe.
heat to it currently since this title re-win for Tony Storm. I've liked this, but I mean, my major issue is this has just gone on for far too long, and it's really
I agree.
handcuffed the title.
I agree. I was gonna say almost the exact same thing. I'm not surprised that Tony won it back at Grand Slam. I think that was also the right choice. I am surprised that they're revisiting Mariah already. I mean, that story will always be there. It will be there for the duration of their careers. They could do it in a year. They could do it in 4 years. Like, it doesn't matter. And like you said, no one else is in the title picture right now. There is no, like, who
Nobody
else has
has been for
Tony?
well over a year.
Who else has Tony even had a um interaction with since the story started? I can't even think of anyone.
Ooh, that's a good
So,
question. Okay, hold on. Let me look this up.
I mean, she's had matches,
Because she won it
but
from
maybe
Sheeta.
Deanna.
Let's see here.
I mean, there was some Deanna stuff, probably.
No. There was
Mm,
Revolution last year with Deanna Purrazzo, which wasn't
okay,
all that impressive.
right.
Oh, there was the mini Mina Shirakawa thing that they did. But
Oh
again,
yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
that's handcuffed within the Mariah May universe.
Yep. Also, Mina's injured, right? So
For now, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And then the Mariah May title reign just, oh man.
It just went on forever.
Grand Slam and Arthur Ashe against Yuka. I remember that was okay. Another thing with Mina Shirakawa and Thunder Rosa. So they just hit repeat on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And now we're back to this.
Ooh,
I need some freshness in this
I
title.
just realized. Yeah, I just realized I'm gonna have to start using my NPR voice because this is the most speaking I've done since I've been sick, and
Oh,
my throat starts to hurt. So I apologize that I'm using my NPR voice, but I need to preserve
I'm kind
some
of
of
with you.
my health.
If I don't kind of talk a certain way, I start coughing.
Yeah,
So
so
I think I'm in the
I'm
same
gonna
boat.
be speaking like this until I get too excited and
I'll tell
forget
you what
how
I
to speak
have
like
really
this.
liked.
Okay.
Besides the Don Callis, what they're doing with Omega Osprey, Ricochet, like I would say
Yeah.
80% of AEW right now, I really love, but the top
Mm-hmm.
two things have stagnated, which is
Mm-hmm.
the Tony Storm, Mariah May thing, and
Yeah.
everything Moxley's doing is
Right.
really handcuffing this promotion into being, I think, really good again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I think my favorite thing I continue to watch and pay attention to since probably June of last year is everything Mercedes Monet's doing. Like
Oh, it's so much better, right?
they're just giving her good. They're just letting her go out there and have good wrestling matches. And
Yeah.
even if the story or she's put with someone who's more of a character like Harley Cameron, even if
Right.
that aspect is kind of minimized, as long as it leads
Yeah.
to the match and the match being the focus, that's when Mercedes has been so good. And
Yep.
every match she has delivered to that
Yep.
extent. And I really like this direction they're going with Momo Watanabe being on a fucking pay-per-view
Yeah.
in America.
So Yeah, so I was surprised though. I assumed Momo was going to go for the New Japan Strong title, but she's going for the TBS title, she said.
Yeah, they're doing a
I love
solid
it.
rematch from that New Japan Strong thing. I think that was in like
Yeah.
San Jose or something. So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think the Harley Cameron thing going into Grand Slam really
Oh, it was so
it
good.
was so good. It served so much of a purpose. It really got Harley over to the next level, and we continue to
100%.
get
Yeah.
this excellent title reign from Mercedes. I have no problem with Harley losing. I think I think the ultimate goal was to get
No.
her highlight and focused, and it absolutely succeeded with that. And now everybody wants to see
Yes.
her succeed.
Yeah. I have no problem with her losing either. She even, I think, knew that she was too green to hold the belt, but it did what it was supposed to do. The match did what it was for Harley, what it was supposed to do, like you said. I'm not of the mindset that the minute somebody gets super over with the audience, you need to put a belt on them. That's not
No,
always the right
it's
thing.
it's
I
just the
mean,
booker's job to continue to get them highlighted on
yeah,
TV, and
to
they
keep
immediately
them,
put her on collision. They immediately put her on Collision for a big
yeah,
promo.
yeah. Same with the Outrunners, right? Like, I think it was the right choice to not put them. I think they might have had like a multi-team title shot, but it was the right choice to not strap them up.
Oh yeah, no, you can't strap the Outrunners up. You can continue to have them in their role, and they're great at that. And Harley's going to be in a
Exactly.
role. The way I was looking at Harley is what happened with Julia Hart, where
Oh, yeah.
she got super over to the point, and then they gave her the title, and it really just didn't hit very well because she can't hold her own to that extent
Right.
yet. I don't think the title reign of Julia Hart was a disaster, but it certainly set. I think it set her back quite a lot. And then there was the injury and whatnot, and she's been trying to get back
I
since. But I think the same thing would
I
have
agree
happened
with
with Harley, where it's like, okay, you have that moment, so to say, if she would have won,
yeah.
and then after that, it's like, no, she can't be in that role, not yet.
Right. Right. I totally agree with your assessment of Julia Hart. I do, however, think if they strapped her up now, she would have a much better reign.
Oh, I don't
Not
think so.
I think I'm not saying they should. I'm just saying she's done so much with her character, uh, and the return vignettes and everything, and losing Malachi, and now not being House of Black anymore. There is the three of them. It would be a much
I
different
think
reign.
it's going
Is
to be
all
way
I'm
better
saying.
without fucking Tommy End being in this company
Yeah,
anymore.
which is which is really sad. He's such an amazing talent, but he clearly wasn't the right fit for AEW. So
Oh yeah, between him and Miro, it was just an unmitigated disaster with just every thing I read and hear in my own interpretation of how these guys
yeah,
act, they just weren't worth it,
right.
and they're finally gone.
And
Ricky Starks leaving, I
the thing
think, is
about
a bummer, but
that is, yeah,
I don't want to use the word but. I think for a while I thought the issue with Ricky was Tony Khan may have like blamed him in some capacity with the CM Punk thing. Now I just think
mhm,
it was everyone kind of knew he was going to leave AEW at the end of his contract and
mhm,
just wasn't utilized and didn't want to waste the time on building up Ricky Starks any further, which I've been on record saying I don't like the non-utilization of guys you have contracted. I think that's stupid.
right,
You know,
right,
it's like if the Yankees were in the middle of the playoff hunt, near the end of the
mhm,
season, they get word Juan Soto's not going to sign with him. He's going to sign with the Mets. And the Yankees just go, okay, we're just going to bench you then for the rest of the season. They wouldn't do that.
right, right. No, of course not. That is a great analogy. That is a phenomenal analogy. That is perfection. Yeah, that would not happen in real, quote unquote, real sports
Yeah,
ever.
like the Avalanche with Rotman, and they know they're going to trade
Nico
him,
Rantanen.
and it's like we're in the
Slap you if we were in the
why would
same
they
room. I would
the
slap you.
Avs wouldn't bench him for 3 months before the All-Star break?
No, no, of course not.
They want to win games.
You use them. Yeah, exactly. You use them as long as you have them to
Yeah.
win games, and in wrestling, to have good TV, right, and quality matches. Yeah, it's stupid.
Like, I don't see why you wouldn't book Ricky Starks in feuds and then have him put guys over if ultimately you're going to let him leave.
Right.
Like, how awesome would it have been for, like, I don't know, a Garcia-Ricky Starks feud, and Garcia goes over? Or, hell, Jay White's vying for the title, and Ricky Starks is a good, like, stepping stone for that. That's the shit, like, just top of my head, I would have, fucking Ricochet. He's in the middle of things. Why couldn't Ricky Starks be in that role? While you have him under contract for 10 months, he was gone. I think that's like the minimum.
Wow.
He was out.
Wow.
It's bizarre. It's so bizarre. Same applies to Phoenix and Pentagon. Maybe Phoenix is just too far gone at this point to even use him, but it didn't have to get to that point.
Yeah.
Very strange. And look, I think the contracts of Miro and Black, I think that's a separate topic than the non-utilization of Ricky Starks. Those guys clearly didn't want to like play ball, so you just kind of have no choice.
They didn't want to play, right? AEW is not. They don't do 50-50 booking. They don't let people not lose, and I think that was just kind of not what they wanted. I don't know. I don't want to speculate on what people's mindsets or what they wanted, but I don't know. It was obviously just not a good fit.
So instead, we're getting someone like a Mike Bailey who can come into this company.
Yeah.
I'd throw him into the TNC title role, like vie for that title, and he can ultimately be the good wrestler that can put dudes in more important positions over.
Yep. And I think he'll be great in that role. Josh Alexander might be coming in too. That's the rumor. I would love that. So
yeah, I wonder where they'd kind of stick him.
I don't know. I don't know where he fits as the thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, I want to see him wrestle on national television, but yeah, I don't know where he fits.
Why not make him a tag team?
Last night, though. Why though?
Why? Well, I mean, why not? The tag division needs blood, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, they threw together Bowens and Caster, and look what happened there. So,
I mean, there are a couple good Canadian boys.
Yeah, it's true.
Could do worse.
They're not the North, though. They don't. Lost Ethan to.
Well, I think this team would be a little better.
I agree. I know.
Yeah.
I know. And I love Ethan, but yeah. Turns out Brandy Rhodes' prophecy was true, right? Do you remember she cut that promo where she
Alexander's not there yet.
Hey, we only signed you to, but she said we only signed you to get to Josh Alexander.
Yeah. Well, the other prophecy was when Cody Rhodes left, everyone kind of thought that all of his bros would end up in WWE and follow suit with him, and that's been absolutely the case.
Who were his bros?
Like Ricky Starr.
MJF, who is not going anywhere.
MJF is like the lone exception. Because Khan has locked this guy up. But like Sean Spears.
And Ricky.
Like those guys, all those type of guys have all like left in some capacity. I think there's only, God, who's left? Oh, you know what? QT Marshall, he did leave at one point, and I think he was looking for a WWE gig, and he just didn't get it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then he came back.
He came back. So let's see. We got Mercedes Yuka Sakazaki. I enjoyed that. Yeah, Mercedes facing Joshi is good fun stuff.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, maybe that's been the issue too, is the quality of opponent she's been facing till now, or till recently, right?
Yeah, they're not sticking her with they're not sticking her with the boring Deonna Purrazzo's out there and Taya Valkyries. They're just like, here's the best wrestlers on our roster. Go do your thing.
Yeah, I would have thought though that Mercedes could drag a good match out of anybody, and we saw with Britt that was clearly not the case. So
No, the only person that could drag something good out of Britt was Hikaru Shida.
yeah, and not the first time. The first time was terrible.
Oh, like it takes a couple tries with Britt Baker, and my God, that's another like problematic person that can leave.
Well, we think she's problematic. We don't know. We have no evidence. We don't know anything about anything.
I don't know. I mean, she's a big enough star with AEW that if she wasn't, she'd be on TV.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's been a while for that.
Yeah. True.
I love this Samoa Joe, Shibata, Hook trio that's going on.
Oh my God. Okay.
I
love the trio. I love them together. Yeah, where did that name come from? Because I don't understand it. And I don't...
Yeah, I don't understand it either, but
like
they just beat ass.
Is it like down with OPP? Like, are you down with OPP? Yeah, you know me.
Yeah, maybe.
I honestly don't know. I don't know what the ops mean. They're like the operatives. Is it short for that? Operation ops? But it has 2 P's.
Yeah, the 2 P's throws me off.
That's why I'm thinking it is more like down with OPP. I don't know. Anyway, I think the name is dumb or I have questions about it, but I love the team. Yes.
The team's fun. That trios match against Christian Cage's group was fun.
The real question is, when is Hook going to get his towel? Does he have to earn it?
He's got to earn the towel.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other guys have towels.
I hope they go for the trios titles and win. I'd like to see this team win that over
Death Riders have it right now.
Death Riders. I'm so over them.
What?
Just
I'm never going to be over Pac holding a belt.
I just think this Death Riders thing has just been a wet fart. They just haven't done anything.
They think you're a wet fart.
Well, fine, put on better stuff.
I saw Emi Sakura the other night, by the way. Live in Denver. Sorry, I just remembered that. Oh.
You want to talk New Japan?
Anyway. Yeah, well, since I mentioned it.
Okay.
I went to an indie show Friday night. Respect Women's Wrestling. It is the same promoter as Lucha Libre and Laughs. And it was a great card. He brought in some female talent that I was not familiar with, except for seeing them on their last show. Really, really talented women. Really good card. And the main event was Emi Sakura versus Heidi Howitzer, and it was super fun.
Beyond Wrestling's going back to booking the Electric Haze, the tiny bar.
Well, Beyond Wrestling also just booked a Nazi, so I am done with them.
Yeah, not great.
I was already done with them because of other decisions they had made, and it's really sad, right? Like, so I feel like me giving up Beyond is probably how a lot of people feel giving up WWE. Like, it's, been a staple of their, like, literally Beyond was the first promotion, like one of the first indies that got me into indie wrestling. And so having to leave it, it really sucks a lot because I have history there and it's something that I've always watched. They have a weekly show that not a lot of indie places do, and it was always something to do on Thursday nights for me. But between booking both known and accused abusers, employing transphobes, and now booking a Nazi, I am super, super, super done giving them my money. I just can't be a part of it anymore. It sucks.
There's still the Brian Myers Academy. I can still make those shows.
That in Massachusetts or New England somewhere?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's still a lot of the New England promotions to choose from. Limitless is still great.
Yeah, that's just a hike to get to.
Chaotic Wrestling is very good. I'm trying to think of who else is out there.
Chaotic, I've been to a few times. I might start hitting them up again.
but it was really weird. Like we were in Massachusetts over, for several weeks um in the fall and winter and did not make a trip to Worcester once, and it was weird. But for me it was the right choice.
Let me get the name of
So I'm
that.
not, I mean, and I don't judge people that continue supporting, continue going. I definitely don't judge the talent because they need work. I just can't go
Yeah,
anymore.
Create a Pro is what it is.
Oh, Create Pro is phenomenal
Yeah.
too. Yeah, I'm going to continue to support them. Create Pro / Wrestle Pro.
Yeah, let me
Both are
see. Let
great.
me just
So
look up real quick what their next events are.
they have something coming up soon, I think. I saw.
I mean, yeah, they're mostly in New York, but it's like doable.
Well, there's Wrestle Pro in New York, and then there's also Wrestle Pro Alaska, which is a separate promotion technically, but it's run by the same group of people. I think Pat Buck still runs the New York one, and Kevin Matthews runs the
Mm,
Alaska one.
okay.
So the next show is Saturday, March 1st in Rahway, New Jersey. And then there's a show Thursday, the 6th.
Okay, so they just had one February 16th in Lynbrook, New
Yep.
York.
Yeah. But the next two shows are in New Jersey.
Forget how far that is.
CPA is the current men's champion. I think Lady Frost might have the women's title right now. Serena Deeb had it. I feel like it's gone back and forth between Deeb and Frost. I don't know who the current champ is
Oh,
with Wrestle Pro.
yeah. So I'd have to go
But
to
again,
more.
Wrestle Pro.
I have to go to more chaotic stuff and Limitless again.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I
Limitless is all the way up in buttfuck Maine, though, right?
It's actually closer than Create a Pro for me.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, it's in
It feels far.
it's just outside Portland, Maine. So I always did like 2 snowboard trips, and I
Hmm.
kind of timed them where I'd go snowboarding in the morning and afternoon, and then at night when the sun goes down, I'd go to the
Yes.
Limitless show.
Yes, we've had that conversation. Yeah.
That was fun. All right, New Japan.
Yeah. Yeah, let me look at this card again because I gotta refresh my memory. Uh what a great fucking show. New beginning in Osaka.
Yeah, I asked you
Holy
last
shit.
month why not Goto, and you were like, I don't know, and I laid it all out, and they fucking did it.
They did it.
They fucking did
They
it.
did it. And it was a great moment. What does his reign look like though?
Looks like they're gonna play a lot of the hits from the old timers, we'll call it, like Nagata.
Okay.
They've already booked Tanahashi on his retirement tour. So right out of the gate, they're at least gonna hit on some. Finally, Goto has the title, and he's defending against all of these guys who have like beaten the piss out of him all these years. So I like that initial booking. I think that's really good, like V1, V2, V3 stuff. That'll
Hmm.
lead nicely into the New Japan Cup, and like I said, like whoever wins that sets up for, if they're over enough, if they've done enough to get to a point or level, then Goto could just lose to that person, or just continue to hold this title throughout the spring and into the summer, and who knows, maybe even through the G1, and we start kind of seeing more Wrestle Kingdom vibes. And does that involve Goto? I don't know, but with the vibes I got coming out of the show and all the young guys and the talent being booked in certain positions, I'm very bullish
Hmm.
on this promotion now. All of a sudden, is that the right term? Bullish? I think so.
I don't know,
I think so.
but yeah, great,
Because we
great.
got Drilla Maloney defeating Shingo Takagi on the
Oh
show.
yeah, that was a match. Yeah.
It was awesome. We had Great Khan punking out Shota Umino, leading to Umino shaving his
Hmm.
head. So I'm very curious what direction they go in that. I mean, it had to happen. They had to pivot.
Yes.
We had not Oiwa. We had what's his face returning on the show from injury.
Okay.
Young guy. I forget right now, but and then Takeshita beat Oleg Boltin, which ruled.
Yeah, that was really good. Oleg Boltin, man.
I love this
Who
guy.
knew?
He's a big, heavy Russian boy.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Awesome. Awesome stuff, yeah.
Naito and Taka Hiromu, beat the Young Bucks as expected. Really funny. I had a lot of good jokes with other friends about this match where the Young Bucks went in there. They got the most out of these two clowns. And the best joke I saw was, are you familiar with like Dragon Ball Z or anything like that?
I'm like adjacently familiar because Jason's a Dragon Ball guy.
Okay, so my friends were sending anime pics of like epic fights, but one of the characters inevitably like destroyed and laying on the ground like ugh. And it was all, like every single one was caption of Hiromu saying, "Naito, we won the tag titles," and it has the Naito as the character who's got the shit kicked out of him.
Oh my god.
It's really funny. And that's what this match was exactly like, where Hiromu's kind of standing tall going, "Yay!" and his friend's like off beaten in a corner. This is the absolute right move and right way to utilize these two broken guys. Naito is totally washed. I kind of expect him to retire in 2026. He is done.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's not capable of anything. That tag match though was very good. I'm glad they have the titles.
It was good enough.
Great to have.
It was good enough.
Well, but we have Takahashi now in the heavyweights finally. So that's
no.
What? Why not?
I don't think this is his
tag.
move into the heavyweights. I think it's just him and Naito being bros about it.
But we've had this conversation. He's done everything there is to do in the juniors. He needs to be in the heavyweights.
He should be, but I think this is as close as he's getting to that role.
Okay.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Stupid.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting much out of Yoda Gabe Kidd. As in, like, I thought it'd be good.
Yep.
And I was kind of wondering what they're gonna what direction they're gonna go with this match, because Gabe Kidd coming off the Omega match, Yoda finally getting he's elevated to the second title in the company, and I'm like, okay, I wonder what direction they're gonna go, and they went with the double KO finish, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that was shocking, especially for New Japan, right? To have
I mean, they've done
of any sort.
Yeah, they haven't done like double countouts or anything other than like wacky G1 matches, and
right. Yeah.
This was a good booking decision. I love this. And the match was physical.
It was good?
Yeah.
I mean the finish, I mean.
Yeah. I loved
it too. I was shocked. Shocked, I tell you.
So the follow-up with Gabe Kidd's going to be interesting, and Yota still has the title, so you can just keep going. So it keeps both guys kind of on fire for what they got to do in their next steps. But Gabe Kidd seems, I guess he's not under contract or something technically with New Japan.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I feel like I read that recently, and that scares me for New Japan, because this guy is hot right now. He's figured things out. He's finally reaching that next level. I think he needs to stay in New Japan and just keep it going. I think it could only raise his stock further.
Yeah, I think that's the right place for him, for sure.
And then we got Goto, Zach, main event, 20 minutes. It wasn't like a 35, 40-minute epic.
Right. It wasn't a slog. Yeah.
This was to the point. and shocking. Shocking. Truly shocking.
I mean, was it really all that shocking?
Yeah, because Goto
But it
is
was
like
great.
the butt of jokes of, like, he's the Momo Watanabe of title challengers.
Yeah, that's true.
He is the guy that will challenge for the title, go into the waterfall, be like, I'm going to win this for my family, and then he lets the family down. He didn't do it this time. The family was not let down, and the crowd exploded. They were all for him. They were all with him.
It was amazing.
It just became
Yeah,
this
the crowd.
organic movement of booking over the last year with Goto, because we were talking about that with the New Japan Cup run last year,
Yeah.
his G1 run, just these instances of him in like interesting singles matches and kind of coming up short here, getting a big win there, getting short again, and then, I mean, how many people thought he was definitely going to win? I mean, the whole conversation was, let's put it on Goto.
Yeah.
Why not Goto? That was the whole thing anyone was talking about, and the crowd showed up for him.
I mean,
and they got
his
rewarded.
hometown, right? But yeah, amazing. Yeah, the reward for sure.
Like, even through the match, I just kept thinking, all right, Zach's gonna like reverse out of this, put him in some wacky thing, and then put him away, and then as the match built and Goto hit one Ushigoroshi and then another, and I'm like, oh my god, no way. And I'm like, and even then, still, I was like, well, Zach's gonna kick out after like 2 of them, and there's just 3. What?
Yeah.
Couldn't believe my eyes.
Yep.
This is the most excited I've been with New Japan in many, many months. I'm on record, and I told you I thought this was the best New Japan show I've watched since like 2019. I've liked it more than Tokyo Dome shows.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I've liked it more than G1 finals. Like, from top to bottom of the card, I thought everything delivered in its purpose and way, and we got multitude of good matches there. I think it elevated the right guys. I think it booked the right guys. The company feels fresh and exciting again.
Yeah, you told me you thought it was the best show since 2019 before I watched it. And I don't think that oversold the show at all. I think it was a perfect description of it. It was great. It was great.
So we're getting Tanahashi Goto, and then we'll see what else is in store for New Japan Pro Wrestling in the coming months.
Yeah.
I have no idea who's going to win the cup. Do you?
Nope. I don't know that I've looked really hard at the bracket or at the whatever, at the
I guess Shingo comes to mind because he took the loss to Maloney, and they have kind of a rematch set up there.
Hang on,
I don't feel like Umino's kind of in position to just straight up do a character change and then just win the cup. I think that would be too risky at this point. You got to build this guy up from scratch again.
Okay.
Yota Tsuji already has a title. He's kind of busy with the global title, the white belt.
Yup. Oh my god. Jason hates Taichi so much. It is so funny.
Oh, I love Taichi.
I mean, so he doesn't really hate him as a wrestler. He hates that he has like too many gimmicks.
Taichi?
And like too many entrances. Oh my god. So he has the singing gimmick. He
Yeah.
has the pants gimmick. He has the I don't know. It's just really funny how much Jason hates him. It's really funny. Okay, who we got? I would like to see. Okay, so Shingo has a bye. Okay, so a bunch of people have a bye in the first round. Do you think Evil is going to beat Yota Tsuji in the first round, though?
Yeah, he could do that. Oh, Evil. I could see him
And then
winning.
it'll be Evil versus Finley.
Oh, you know what? David Finley's a good...
That makes sense to me, actually.
David Finley's a good
Finley's...
candidate to win. Yeah.
I think David Finley's going to have a great tournament. I don't know if he wins, but I think he's up there. And then I'm looking at the other side. Jeff Cobb would be fun.
Uh,
Jill Maloney is on the other side. Shooter. What is going on with Shooter, man?
well, I'm telling you, they got to start them over from scratch, and this was a good starting point, but it's going to take longer than just new character, new look, win the New Japan Cup. It's going to take a lot more.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. This tournament might do it, but if he gets multiple, if he wins at least once or twice to introduce us to whatever is next.
All right, let's get through this Nitro show and call it a day. June 5th, 2000. June 5th, 2000, Monday Nitro from Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, God.
The Phillips Arena, 13,000 people, allegedly. It was packed, but...
13,000 people?
There was a lot of people there.
It was packed.
It was packed. Atlanta is their backyard. It's like AEW going to Jacksonville. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is your go-home show to Great American Bash. We actually know the main event.
We do.
The show was fucking stupid.
This is the go-home show for a pay-per-view. I can't tell you how many times during this show, commentary was like, we weren't supposed to see this until the pay-per-view, and now we have it. So, like, what the fuck is going to happen on the pay-per-view when they
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. All I was thinking throughout this entire show was, we've seen all the matches already.
Yeah. What the fuck is happening on the pay-per-view?
It doesn't matter. You don't have to buy the payper-view. You've already seen everything.
Nope. I mean, talk about shooting yourself in the foot, right? Like, man, there was a cage match. There were 2 cage matches in this episode.
Wait, 2? No, there was 1, right?
Yeah. Well, there was the one that was supposed to be in a cage, and then the Jeff Jarrett match. Sting says, "Bring the cage down." The Jeff Jarrett match was Jeff Jarrett versus Sting was in a cage.
You're right. You're right.
I know.
This show's stupid.
I know. It was so dumb.
So we're getting Kevin Nash versus Jeff Jarrett for the title, but would it shock you if they changed that match the night of or on Thunder?
Nothing will shock me anymore.
Yeah, why would it, right? This show was like an acid trip. This is one of the worst Nitros I've ever seen.
It was really bad.
The main event was like an icing on the cake of shit.
Oh my God.
Because as you were texting me, as you were watching the show, getting to the gauntlet match, and I'm like, she's going to watch the gauntlet match. I got to know her reaction. You're like, there's only 3 minutes left for the gauntlet match. I'm like, yeah.
It was not a gauntlet. Okay, so I'm looking at cage match, and it says Kevin Nash versus New Blood, and it lists 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It lists 11 opponents. He didn't beat all of them. Did he? One after another?
Yes, he did. But it was really stupid. So they're out of time at the end of the show, and they've built this this Kevin Nash New Blood gauntlet like all night with Russo and Bischoff, because that's how we got to start off every Nitro, is these jokers.
There was literally 3 minutes left of the episode.
Yes, because the previous Russo Ric Flair cage match went on for a fucking eternity. They had no time left in the show. So
okay, here's the thing though. Hang on. Before you continue, you say it went on for an eternity. It only felt that way because this is WCW. It was under 10 minutes.
Well, okay. So the eternity part was, this is all important because of how the show ends. So it's Russo against Ric Flair in a cage for whatever the fuck, right?
Right.
Why would you do that? And it was supposed to be this swerve about David Flair coming in and causing havoc. It makes no sense. Ric Flair has Russo in a figure 4 finally after he's like punked out David Flair. And
Right.
the ref is there. He has this figure 4 on for like a year. And David Flair is hunched over on his knees next to Russo. So I'm like, what's happening? Because Russo's like screaming, he's reaching for David, and David's like kind of grabbing his hand, but then he pulls it away, and then he grabs it again. I'm like, is he going to go under the rope? I kept thinking, is he going to go under the rope and like drag him out yet?
But David was under the ring the whole time? Like
they implied that David was under the ring the entire night, yeah.
Oh my god.
So they reach for each other's hand like 4 or 5 times, and it's just a never-ending figure 4. And I'm like, is Russo going to give up? What are they like? What's the holdup? What's happening?
What is this leading to?
What is this leading to? You time it. It's like 60 seconds of just nothing happening. It's just this figure 4.
It didn't feel like a long time.
Yeah. And then finally,
we find out
this just absurd amount of blood falls from the ceiling. The new blood, the new blood spill.
Oh my god! It was the grossest looking blood too. It was like oily. It
looked like oil.
Like separated.
Yeah.
Separated at some point.
And it just dumps all over Rick and Russo and the ref. And the ref he just acts like he's knocked out.
Oh.
So then David gets up,
Robinson,
just
right?
pulls him off, and then
name is Robinson.
Yeah, Charles Robinson, Little Nate.
Charles Robinson. Yeah.
And David gets Rick in his own figure 4, and then Russo like goes to pin Ric Flair, but of course the ref's down. They're like, "What's going on?" Another eternity passes. They finally like, "Hey, ref, wake up!" And then he just counts 3.
Yeah, and he was, I think Ric Flair was tapping at one point too.
Well, he was. I mean, he was screaming in agony and whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this took like a million years to clean up, raise the cage.
Yep.
I was like, because I kept thinking, oh, the show's over. Because why would you continue the show after you just made this huge mess?
Did a bloodbath, yeah. And then they're like, oh yeah, the gauntlet.
And then the gauntlet. Forgot about that. So now there's no time left in the show. The idea is, and Russo comes back out. He's like toweled himself off, and he's like, all right, gauntlet time. All the new blood here, all these dorks against you, Kevin Nash, and you remind us like a million times. And if you lose to any of these guys, no more title match at the pay-per-view, because that's what you want to do is tease that your main event of a pay-per-view isn't going to happen. So again, buy your tickets, folks. Spend your $60. So because they're so short on time, they have to do the dumbest, just one-hit kill shots. And there's literally no time for Nash to actually pin anybody. So the ref just starts counting 3 on guys. So Nash would hit a powerbomb on one guy. Yeah, so Nash hits a powerbomb on a guy, and the ref just goes 1, 2, 3, even though Nash isn't pinning him. Powerbombs another guy, same thing, 1, 2, 3. Powerbombs another guy. 1, 2, Nash was like, oh, okay, I'm here. He puts his foot on the guy. 3. Rey Mysterio comes in. He big boots him. 1, 2, 3. It just repeats for like 11 dudes.
Yeah.
And then the whole group of them get in. They start beating him up. Goldberg's music hits. And they're like, Goldberg, you're suspended. It's like,
oh, yeah. I told you you couldn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Goldberg says that Bischoff's
next,
basically.
And I believe that leads to a Russo-Goldberg cage match very soon, which is
brilliant.
Which is pretty famous in the sense that he knocks Russo silly.
Did we even mention that Eric Bischoff won the hardcore title from Terry Funk in this episode? What the fuck?
Oh yeah, it's stupid. So earlier on the show, Bischoff books himself against Terry Funk, and like 3 other guys beat up Terry Funk, and then Bischoff pins him for the hardcore title. All while these guys in the front row have like fun R on their chests. I don't know what that was about.
What? Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, there was like a group of 4 guys, all with their shirts off, kind of in the front row there, with letters on their chest, like it's a sports team. But I'm like, I don't know what they're going for. Very distracting, the whole show.
Oh, I missed that somehow. Oh, do you know what? Because I was watching it on my phone, so it was very small. And then I was watching it in picture on my phone so I could play a game while I watched it. So it's very, very, very small.
It's a smart way to watch it, though. Yeah.
Very, very, very small. It was very smart. I loved it, actually. I was like, this is how I'm watching WCW from now on.
Yeah. I really like how they, like as in funny and this is terrible, is they've hinted Tank Abbott Goldberg since last year. And then Goldberg tore his arm up. And now they're revisiting this. So I thought, okay, they're going to build this up. It's going to be the pay-per-view match or whatever. Silly me for thinking that.
Nope.
Because it's just going to be tonight. They do a little video package saying, and the video package is stupid too. Okay, so the funniest line is Tony Schiavone. Okay?
He's so good. Oh my God. Tony was the star of the show.
Oh, he was sassy Tony
so
tonight.
Good. He was good. He was good. He was dialed in. And he's dealing with what's his face, the fucking misogynistic jerk.
Yeah, be more specific.
Yeah, kept him in line.
Yeah.
It was great.
Mark Madden and
amazing.
what's his face.
Scott,
they're playing
is it Scott something?
Scott Hudson, yeah.
No, Mark Madden, yeah.
It's Mark Madden and Scott Hudson.
Yeah.
They're both terrible.
Yeah, fucking.
So Tony Schiavone throughout the show tonight is just not having it. And it's really funny. And one of the best lines was this Tank Abbott Goldberg thing where Abbott's cutting a promo saying, I'm going to take everyone out. I'm going to beat everyone up. And everyone's going to be innocent victims. And then it cuts. Abbott beats someone up. And Tony goes, oh no, the innocent victims. Shit like that throughout the night. It was so funny.
Oh my God.
Like, this is the worst commentary ever, but it's Tony Schiavone saved me.
Fucking great.
Yeah.
I love Tony. Oh, speaking of Tony Schiavone, by the way, I don't know if you're on BluSky yet, but one of my most popular posts has been, I just keep reposting Tony Schiavone's Don Callis face. When Tony Schiavone introduced Don Callis, he makes his face, there's like grumpy cat face.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Okay, so let's see. We have already recapped a lot of that.
At all costs.
There was a lot of women getting beat up on the show and put down, so Russo's booking it.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah. So there was a lot of women getting beaten up. There was actually a women's angle, though. There was a mixed tag match with Kimberly and, what's her face?
Miss Hancock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a backstage
Oh my God, that mixed tag. Oh, Jesus.
So there's a backstage segment where what's his face? Kidman is talking to
Tori Wilson.
Tori. And then Major Guns walks in and he's like, shut up, bitch. And I was like, whoa. Fortunately though, the retribution is like, well, now we have to kick Billy Kidman's ass because he treated Tori Wilson like shit. I'm like, great, okay, so they're not okay with misogyny. And then fucking Mark Madden or Scott Hudson says something even worse. And I was like, never mind.
Yeah, they basically call every woman on the show like a prostitute. Nope. It's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Billy Kidman didn't even... Like, the problem is Billy Kidman's supposed to be the heel. Hold on, that was a phone call.
What's happening? Is that your phone?
Yeah, that was my Kenny Omega thing.
Now that you said it was Kenny Omega, I could hear Battle Cry, yeah.
All right, hold on, I gotta take this as work. First, so you keep talking about Nitro, and I'll take this call.
I don't know how much else I can say about Nitro besides the stuff with the women, right? Like, I don't know what else was going on in pop culture at the time that this was airing. I can't remember that far back. And I was like, I don't know, like 16 when this was. What? Are you talking to me now? He's on the phone. He didn't mute himself. Mute yourself. So like, I don't even know, like, the misogyny of this episode. I don't even know if this was appropriate for the time, if at the time it would have been looked down upon. Like, were they just trying to be like edgy? I whatever the reason for it is, there's really no excuse, even in the year 2000. Like, it was just blatant disrespect for women and the oh my god. But the match though ended up being so Kimberly and Mike Awesome, I guess, are a thing, and Miss Hancock is gonna have a surprise partner, and it ends up being DDP, of course. Um, and Kimberly says, no, I have a restraining order against him. He can't be within 500 feet. But Miss Hancock had previously made Kimberly like sign something that Kimberly didn't read, and basically it was voiding the restraining order, which again, just fucking stupid 2000s stuff. But yeah, we have Bischoff winning the hardcore title, and then we have Russo in a cage match against Ric Flair. Like the 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 promoters who book themselves to get over, I just have no patience for. I thought it was limited to indie wrestling, and nope, this is happening on a major television promotion. And yeah, this is just wild. I don't know if I had watched this at the time. I don't know at what point I would have given up. Would I have given up? I don't know. I can't tell you that. I wish I like wish I had that retro that retrospective but I don't. Like, I love that I'm watching it for the first time now because my view is completely different than JD's, and also, as a newer fan and never having seen it. But I don't know what I would have thought if I had watched this live at, at 16 years old in the year 2000. I don't
All
know.
right, I'm back.
Great. I
Yeah.
was riffing. It was not good.
It,
Apologies to the audience.
it's okay. I still had you in one ear throughout that. I can tell you, as someone who was watching WCW, gave up well before 2000, and I wasn't the
Yeah, that
only
makes
one.
sense.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
watching the death of this company is very fascinating, and seeing all this
it is.
bullshit we're seeing in 2000, and
Yeah.
when it comes to people like Bischoff and Russo,
Mhm.
and kind of a lot of the wrestlers around this
Yeah.
time, Attitude Era
Yeah.
wrestlers and these WCW people that really
Uh-huh.
criticize AEW for like,
Yeah.
and they're using like Harley Cameron as a big like crux point example of,
What?
yeah. So what they're doing is they're saying, oh, characters matter more than the wrestling. And now like WWE is booking shit like The Rock and Cody where, oh, we can have a program that doesn't involve a wrestling match. And you're like, this is a wrestling show. What are you talking about?
What?
And
Wait, that's
that's
happening? What?
ultimately, oh yeah. And that's ultimately what like
Oh my
Bischoff
God.
and Russo are doing in WCW right now is the matches don't matter. They're trying to
Right.
just do nothing but character shit, and it's bad. And it doesn't work to
Yeah.
what the medium is.
Right.
So you were talking about the um, Diamond Dallas Page like mix tag thing at one point.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I was.
so they all of a sudden start booking this Kimberly, Miss Hancock. Well, I guess they're not. Kimberly wants Spotlight, being the woman that she is. That's like
Yes.
her.
She wants to be the star of the show. She's the only
The
attraction.
well,
Yeah.
the problem is the direction they're going is having her wrestle in the ring and starting cat fights with other women who can't wrestle. So then they
Right.
have to then book bullshit into it and incorporating
Uh-huh.
storylines with like Mike Awesome and DDP. Uh,
Right.
which again, they already booked the ambulance match, which we got the payoff
Oh my God.
basically.
Which by the speaking of the ambulance match, do you think it's actually going to end with an ambulance door closing? Because the last ambulance match
No, yeah, with Booker T
did
and
not.
oh, I'm sorry, not Booker T. He's not Corporal Cajun. What the fuck is Booker T's stupid name now? It's whatever military thing it is. I don't have the brain capacity to continue that. But yeah, they do this whole Miss Hancock Kimberly thing. And Hancock is like, here, sign this thing. I don't want to mess up your face and be responsible. Oh, okay, whatever. And it's like, oh, the restraining order is now gone. I was like, that's not how this shit works.
Right.
So they have this awful mixed tag, and they literally book these women to come out and wrestle in high heels. Like, it's a farce and it's stupid.
Yep.
They can't even be bothered to do the stupid barefoot trope that they've been doing. A lot of yelling at women.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So, like, Molly Holly and Medusa, like, would have wrestling matches, but they'd kick off the heels and wrestle barefoot.
Okay.
And they do a lot of that in WWF at this time. And now on Nitro, it's just, nope, just continue to do your thing in heels. And it's just, I'm like wondering when someone's going to break an ankle.
Yeah.
So what's one segment we haven't talked about yet? Let's see.
I don't care. I'm done.
GI Bro is the name.
Oh, okay. So
there was Scott Steiner Vampiro, which was a waste of time.
Right. Oh yeah. So GI Bro was the one that said, let's kick Bailey Kidman's ass. Let's stand up against misogyny and kick Bailey Kidman's ass. Teach him how to, behave. That match should have been a good match. It was a good match. Except it was less than 2 minutes and ended with a stupid ending. Always. I mean, that's what I say about all the Kidman matches and all the Booker matches, right? Like, man, they have so much potential. They don't even know.
Oh my god! I pulled up a review over this particular Nitro. Okay. And I just got to the part where it's Sting versus Jeff Jarrett for the world title, just in the middle of the show. Yeah. We kind of brushed over that. Okay. So basically, Sting rolls up Jeff Jarrett for the pin, and they proclaim that Sting is now the new champion.
I forgot about how this ends.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He beat him in like 3 minutes. He beats Jeff Jarrett, their champion, in 3 minutes. Bischoff comes in and says, "No, it's not for the title. Never said it was." And then Jeff tries to hit Sting with the belt, and then Sting just beats the piss out of Jeff Jarrett and leaves him laying for the dumb, dusty finish. So basically, the world here's I just gotta read this verbatim because it's really good. The world champion just got pinned clean in less than 3 minutes in the middle of a show 6 days before he defends the title in the main event of your pay-per-view. By the way, here are the recent ratings for Raw and Nitro. Raw 7.1, Nitro 3. Raw 6.4, Nitro 3. Raw 5.9, Nitro 2.8. Raw 6.8, Nitro 3.0. You keep going with burying your champion after changing the title 18 times in 5 months? Maybe if you work hard enough, Raw will only double your numbers. Jeff is put in the ambulance.
That sums it up. Oh my god, I just got really cold. I'm freezing all of a sudden.
God, this is bad.
I gotta go put on a sweater.
All right, I'll just race through other segments and we can call this a day. Hulk Hogan comes back as Hollywood, even though they were saying he's not going to wrestle through the night. Oh my God. NWO music. This is shit. Have a horrible thing against Horace Hogan. Bischoff's out again. Crazy. Bischoff and Russo are just all over the show from segment to segment to segment. Every single time. Yep. What the fuck rating did this show do? WCW Nitro. June 5th, 2000.
Oh, on Cage Match, it's a 1.71.
Ooh, no way. It dropped that far?
Yeah.
All right, list of...
It might be the worst rated episode. Oh, nope.
No.
Oh, no.
Here we go, ratings
I just
history.
saw the rating for the Great American Bash that we have to watch next. Do you want to know what the Cage Match rating is for the Great American Bash 2000?
Okay, no, it was a 2.8. The show dropped to a 2.8. That's what it
What am I
was.
talking about then?
I think you're
Okay.
getting something else, some different number.
It's the current total reading.
Hold on.
The TV rating is a 2.8. Yes, I'm talking about the cage match rating.
Oh yeah. Oh, the cage match. Like every cage match rating's like awful around this time. Rightfully
Okay,
so. Yeah,
so
I'm
the Great
talking about
American
the
Bash.
television rating.
Oh, so the buy. Do you want to know what the relative buy rate is for the Great American Bash that we have to watch next week?
Wasn't it like a 0.6 or something?
It's a 0.19.
Oh, it's even worse. Fucking awful.
It's a relative buy rate, but still, yeah.
So after
yeah.
this show, Nitro, it looks like they only get above 3 2 more times.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah, 3.5 and 3.6, August 28th and September 4th. I wonder what happened there. August 28th.
I'm not looking forward to finding out, but I guess we will.
I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look it up.
All right. Great.
The main event is Sting versus the Great Muta.
What? How? Why? What? How did they get there? Oh my god.
Booker T's Booker T again. Tigress defeats Major Guns and Paisley in 20 seconds. There's a women's three-way.
Wow.
Why did this show get such a high rating? This looks terrible.
It does.
I'm baffled. And the next week did a little better. Did a 3.6. What were the...
Okay.
I don't understand. Why? That was in Dallas. 6.5 on Cage Match. What happened? Oh, that's the Triple Cage show. Ah, that explains it. Okay. That's the infamous Triple Cage show. That one I remember. I think I even saw that as a kid.
All right.
Well, that was Nitro. Very bad. Very bad.
It sure was.
This is definitely up there for worst Nitro of all time.
It was really bad. It was really, really, really bad.
All right, that does it for us. That does it for me.
What else to say?
It's dinner time. Ricky, that was fun.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Bye.